I always tell everybody, I don't go in there looking for the knockout. I go looking for the win. But if he get out of line, he's gonna be the next one down.
For Terence Crawford, he has definitely gone under the radar. 4-weight world champion, 41-0, 31 knockouts. A southpaw who's got IQ and speed and craft. I think it's a fabulously interesting matchup.
It's going to be a great fight. The reason I have so much confidence is because I really believe that Bud Crawford doesn't fear Canelo Alvarez. A lot of his opponents.
At a tense press conference, Terence Crawford fired back at Canelo with explosive energy. He emphasized that his main focus is proving himself inside the ring, but also issued a strong warning. If Canelo crosses a line or shows any disrespect, things could quickly turn personal. Crawford's powerful statement highlighted his burning determination and sharp mindset, leaving no questions about his confidence heading into the fight.
You were there is stuff. You were talking to. Let Aaron. You were. Cause you keep talking like you doing all that talking. That's how you doing all that talking. You can't be always talking. Come back. He don't talk, and you talking too much. This you want some attention. Right here. This is gonna be legendary. Right female ass. So y'all tuning in. This is a legendary old school fight. Get out. Some attention, put the camera on him because that's what he's doing, showing out like a female. Let him finish, bud. Go ahead, EJ.
Yeah, all right.
Greg Hackett has openly expressed confidence in Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo Alvarez, pointing to Crawford's fearless mentality both inside and outside the ring. Hackett explains that unlike many fighters who hesitate when facing a dominant style like Canelo, Crawford never enters a bout with doubt or intimidation. He emphasizes that Crawford's confidence isn't arrogance, but the result of years of discipline, consistent victories, and the ability to adapt. According to Hackett, belief in oneself is a fighter's greatest weapon, and Crawford carries that into every matchup. Taking on Canelo, widely seen as one of boxing's pound-for-pound elites, demands mental toughness, and Hackett insists Crawford has it in abundance. For him, this isn't an uphill challenge for Crawford, but another chance to prove he performs best under pressure.
Canelo, they taking Crawford. You got people that was taking Crawford, they taking Canelo.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
It should be that way because we talking about a great fight here. We talking about two great athletes. So when it's like this, it's better for the betting. You know what I mean? All the people that like to bet, it's better for them. You know what I mean? Because nobody knows where the money gonna land. The reason I have so much confidence in this fight, you know, thinking that it's going to be a great fight. The reason I have so much confidence is because I really believe that Bud Crawford doesn't fear Canelo Alvarez. A lot of his opponents in the past were nervous, scared from the beginning. I don't think Bud feel that way at all. I think we going to get a good rumble on our hands. You know what I mean? It's just going to come down to the big question for Bud is, can he take the shot? You know what I'm saying? The question I think for Canelo is, does he get old? I say that for a reason. He got a lot of fights, bro. He got, I think he going on almost 70 fights. You know what I'm saying? Or he a little bit under 70. That's a lot of fights for current time. You know what I'm saying? And Bud got a lot of gas still left, but he's older as well. You know what I mean? A lot of people would like to give him shit for not being able to take a shot, or not that he didn't take the shot, but getting buzzed with some shots at lower weight classes. So it's like, how can he handle himself at 168 pounds? But you have to understand the physical to understand how. You know what I mean? I'm not about to get into all of that, but you know what I mean? I do understand he will be a lot more sturdy at 68. I mean, if you smart, you've seen it at 47 versus Earl Spence.
Adam Smith, one of boxing's most respected commentators, sees a potential clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez as a massive challenge for Crawford, but not an impossible one. According to Smith, Crawford's exceptional ring IQ sets him apart, allowing him to adjust quickly to opponents and capitalize on their weaknesses with accuracy. His speed, Smith notes, could play a key role, especially against Canelo's defensive approach, which sometimes leaves gaps for sharp, intelligent fighters to exploit. Smith predicted if the fight happens, it could very well go the distance, with Crawford's ability to outthink and outmaneuver Canelo over 12 rounds being the deciding factor. He describes a bout as one that could become a modern classic, with both fighters tested mentally and physically at the highest level. In Smith's view, The idea of Crawford winning on points isn't unrealistic. It's simply a reminder that in boxing, skill, strategy, and intelligence often decide the outcome.
September the 13th, it's billed as fight of the century. I do feel as though this one, for such an unbelievably good fight, the prospect of, it has gone under the radar a bit. We've spoken more about fights that are not even...
No, but you back Ben, I mean, how much you spoke about
No,
that?
I love that fight.
Yeah, but compared to these two guys...
Yeah, but
that's in Britain, that's prime time here, it's the football casuals. I think the problem with this fight is it is just a fabulous boxing matchup, and one with all sorts of curiosity between two superstars. The Ring magazine's dedicated the entire magazine, but this is boxing, it's hardcore boxing. I think Canelo is known. I think Canelo, obviously the Mexican machismo that holds all the super middleweight titles, nearly 70 odd fights. He's been phenomenal. I think he's 35 now. But for Terence Crawford, he has definitely gone under the radar. 4-weight world champion, 41-0, 31 knockouts, a southpaw who's got IQ and speed and craft. I think it's a fabulously interesting matchup, the two of them, because you've got the big guy, the strong super middleweight, really, really cultured, wonderful fighter in Canelo. But is he just slightly, ever so slightly, fine margins past his peak? And you've got Crawford, who needs this fight as his coming out party. The big news, it's on Netflix, so he'll get the attention. Can Crawford do it? It's a huge step again in weights, but I think he's got the speed, and I think he's got the know-how, I'm sure we'll talk about it more next week, to cause problems for Canelo, and I think that he could win it on points.
Ede Oladipo takes a more critical stance on potential clash, suggesting that while the fight has generated huge buzz, it lacks the natural intrigue found in other recent high-profile matchups like Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. Oladipo argues that Crawford versus Canelo doesn't carry the same level of suspense or balance, mainly due to the weight difference and the widespread belief that Canelo holds the advantage. In his view, Usyk versus Dubois offered a true clash of styles with genuine unpredictability, while Crawford versus Canelo feels less evenly matched. He believes much of the excitement surrounding this bout is fueled more by promotional hype than by the actual dynamics of the contest.
Like, you know, it's been billed as the biggest fight of the century. Some are saying the biggest fight of all time. Let's calm down, people. Let's breathe a little bit. It's a big fight. But it doesn't quite feel like those things. It doesn't feel like the biggest fight of the century. Like, this doesn't feel like, and maybe because I work these events, so it's slightly different, but this doesn't feel like Usyk Fury, for example. It doesn't feel like that at all. That felt like, oh my God, this is going to happen. Undisputed heavyweight title fight. Remember, this is an undisputed super middleweight title fight. Just feels a bit lacking of something. Like, I can't believe that Max Kellerman is now part of this. And again, for nostalgia, we haven't got a Max Kellerman face-off. How Canelo speaks great English now. How we haven't got that? Just to kind of give it a bit of spice, because Canelo, with his English, it's like he's only learned the bad words. He does chat a lot of shit. So I almost felt like we should have done that. Maybe because it's on Netflix, it hasn't got a bit of a push from ESPN. Obviously, there's no DAZN stuff, obviously, because DAZN are not covering it. I feel like it's lacking something. And maybe because both of them don't trash talk either. Because when I think of the biggest fights of the last sort of 15, 20 years, you've always had one side of the fight, or one side who's a big trash talker. In some instances, two. The biggest fights, again, Usyk Fury. Fury was happy to do all the trash talking. Sold it. Event went massive. Mayweather, Pacquiao. Mayweather is happy to do all that, right? Mayweather, McGregor. Hence why that went just colossal. Because you got two of the biggest trash talkers ever doing it. This time, Canelo ain't saying anything. Crawford ain't saying anything. Feels a bit flat. Feels a little bit flat.
Promoters have gone all out to turn Crawford versus Canelo into more than just a boxing match, branding it as a fight of the century. They've tapped into the global boxing audience while also reaching far beyond the sport's usual fan base. With Netflix stepping in, the hype has been amplified even further through exclusive coverage, behind-the-scenes access, and never-before-seen footage that makes the event feel larger than life. From documentaries and interviews to high-profile press conferences, every piece has been marketed with precision, bringing the fight into homes that normally wouldn't tune into boxing. This promotional strategy blurs the line between sport and entertainment, building anticipation on a scale that rivals the biggest crossover events in history.
I'm holding you to the standard you said. They're tagging this the fight of the century, colossal, super fight, Netflix, Dana White, right? So now we got to look at it. You can't tell me something. See, I'm not the type of person where you could pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. If that's you and you're going to let somebody urinate on your leg and tell you it's raining, that's on you. But I don't do that. I'm a critical thinker, and I'm not just going to listen to what you tell me and see if the facts don't support that, right? So if this is the fight of the century, let's look at it. Boxing tickets, Canelo versus Crawford, right? Since August 29th, tickets listed, $2,566, dollar value, $7 million plus worth of tickets. Hey, bro, $7 million worth of tickets.
I'm holding them to the standard they set themselves. They are calling this a fight of the century, the super fight, attaching Netflix and Dana White's names to it. So let's really break it down. I'm not the kind of person who just accepts whatever I'm told. I think critically. If someone tries to sell me a false picture, I won't buy it. If you want to believe the hype without checking the facts, that's on you. But I'm going to look at the numbers. For example, since August 29th, tickets for Canelo versus Crawford have been listed at over $2,500 each, with sales adding up to more than $7 million already. That's the kind of detail that shows how massive this event is.
To have these two level of fighters meet, where does this rank at?
I think it's one of those fights that, the interesting thing is, it wasn't as if every boxing fan said, boy, I can't wait to see Canelo fight Terence Crawford.
Right,
in other words,
right.
it wasn't one of those fights, like there were more boxing fans that said, gee, I'd like to see Canelo fight David Benavidez. But having said that, I mean, among the hardcore boxing fans,
For sure.
having said that, what they did, and this happens sometimes in boxing, they come up with a matchup that wasn't on everybody's mind, but kind of makes sense. And the proof is in the pudding. If you do one of those kind of matches and the interest is not there, you're going to find that out.
For sure.
In this case, obviously the interest was there because they've sold. I mean, I went online and looked at the ticket sales and everything, and they've sold. It looks like they've already sold 40,000 seats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
believe
it's
they'll
not
sell
that
it
many
out.
left in Allegiant Stadium. So that alone is an indicator. The amount of attention and coverage the fight has gotten, and this is one of those fights that will also have a good barometer as we get closer to the fight. How much is the mainstream sports media covering the fight?
Yeah.
You know, it used to be in the old days, big fights were covered all the time by the mainstream sports media, not so much in recent years. And so that's always a barometer of whether it, really is as big as we think. As far as the actual matchup is concerned, when it was originally announced, I thought they were going to have a hard sell in convincing people that Crawford could come up 2 weight classes and take on a 168-pounder because he already moved up.
Veteran boxing analyst Ol Bernstein offers a blunt perspective, suggesting that despite the massive promotional machine behind it, this isn't the fight the boxing world was truly asking for. He argues that the push for Crawford versus Canelo didn't come naturally. Fans were more eager to see Crawford face top names in his own division, or Canelo take on challengers closer to his weight. While the bout has intrigue on paper, Bernstein notes it lacks the organic rivalry or storyline that usually turns a matchup into a must-see event. He adds that although promotion has been effective in creating buzz, genuine interest among hardcore boxing fans is far lower compared to other mega fights. For Bernstein, this contest feels less like a natural demand and more like a product of marketing strategy.
So many tickets available for this fight because of that undercard. This promotion has been just, it's very interesting, man. Number one, there's no real reason for this fight to take place. Terence Crawford and Canelo. Nobody was asking for the fight. There's no natural connection between the two fighters. There's just two names that people think are on the top of a hypothetical list called the pound for pound list that many people act as if it's real. So they're two top pound for pound people, and they put them together and think this makes some big magic match. It may be a magic match once they get in the ring if Terence Crawford can overcome Canelo Alvarez. It's got a real potential for that. But what happens if the fight winds up just being what more than likely it'll be, which is Terence Crawford trying to get away from the bigger, stronger Canelo Alvarez? Because again, he's jumping so many weight classes. That's the gimmick. That jumping the weight class is the gimmick that is supposed to be attracting people to this fight. Gimmicks are not gonna pull it. And you can't tell me of the people. Now, there's going to be many people in the stadium. People go to the fight for sure. There are going to be people out there for that event. But you can't tell me that particular event with the fights that they have on that card is going to be some memorable night of boxing, other than maybe it taking place in the main event. You have people. Many of these fighters are not from the United States. As I look from them, I would have to go out and see in the United States how many fighters from the United States do they actually have, right?
A common sentiment surrounding this matchup is that, while it's guaranteed to draw massive attention, it's not necessarily a fight fans have been demanding. Many argue that the natural size and weight advantage leans heavily toward Canelo, making the outcome feel predictable. As a result, the real intrigue centers on whether Crawford can rise above those disadvantages and deliver a historic upset. Should he succeed, it would go down as one of boxing's most shocking and inspiring victories, reshaping the underdog narrative. But if Canelo wins in the dominant fashion most anticipate, critics may dismiss the event as inevitable or uninspired. This captures the ongoing tension between hope and expectation. Fans long for an upset but fear being let down by a result that seems already written. Ultimately, the question is whether Crawford's skill can truly overcome Canelo's size.
Terence Bud Crawford is absolutely ripped, absolutely shredded. What looks to be about 175. Now he fights next Saturday, a week out from the fight. It's a week out from the weigh-in, so I'm sure that you look at Terence Bud Crawford right there and you see he is absolutely shredded right there. And this is a week before the weigh-in, right? So I'm pretty sure he's probably weighing about 174, something of that magnitude, maybe about 173. 175 is probably the max he is at one right now, because obviously the weight is at 168 and he's a week out. So he might be around 173, drop 5 pounds next Friday for the weigh-in, right? So Terence Crawford, as I showed you guys, is training and putting a mass in his shoulders and in his legs. As you can see here, once again, right? He hasn't gained a lot of muscle mass except in his shoulders, okay? When you look at Terence Crawford in previous fights, previous weigh-ins, his arms look pretty much the same. His neck and his shoulders is where you can see a clear difference from fights in the past, right? When you look at his midsection, his core, right? You can see the water weight, right? So right now, it's going to look like his midsection, his core is going to look bigger than what it actually is.
Observers have been amazed by Terence Crawford's transformation at 175 pounds, well above his natural fighting weight. Photos and reports reveal a leaner, more powerful version of Crawford, with defined muscle, a thicker neck, and broader shoulders, presenting the look of a fighter built to take on Canelo's physical dominance. This shift has reassured many that Crawford won't be undersized going into the bout. Instead, he's sculpted his body to meet the demands of a higher weight class. His preparation suggests a serious investment in strength and conditioning, adding power while maintaining his trademark speed and agility. For fans, watching Crawford bulk up yet remain sharp fuels optimism that he can counter Canelo's size advantage while still displaying the technical brilliance that defines his style. The new, stronger image of Crawford has sparked fresh debate over whether size alone will determine the outcome.
Terence Crawford a guru in the ring? Absolutely. He is one of the best fighters ever created in humanity. But you cannot say that I'm going to come in with 5 pounds taped across my arms and legs and then go against Canelo Alvarez. He's not going against some dude who doesn't have counter punches, who doesn't have a ring IQ. Canelo's been fighting since 15 and is one of the few fighters who has taken literally less punishment than, say, Caleb Plant, who has like 25 fights. If you look at the amount of punishment that Caleb Plant has taken in his fights, Canelo has probably taken less punishment than that. And he's coming in hungry. And he's going to come in with 87 billion Mexicans in the ring walk, everybody flying flags. You don't know what Crawford's stage fight is going to be, coming in front of 70,000 people. Canelo's been there. He's going to put the shoes to Crawford.
We'll end it here for now. Stay connected, because more exciting boxing content is coming your way soon.